national football team suffered a 0-3 loss to Iran in the CAFA Nations Cup group stage Monday afternoon in Hisor. And those of you who might not have seen the game, just saw the result, you would say 0-3? Yeah, I would take it. But let's discuss this from start to finish. Khalid Jamil made 2 changes to his starting lineup. Jackson and Lalinzwala Chante on the bench. That meant that Danish Farooq and Nikhil Prabhu moved into the starting lineup. The story of the first half is simply said, India played a 4-5-1, ultra-defensive setup. Iran was trying to break it down, wasn't able to do that. I felt in some passages of the first half that they were sort of so confident to a level of arrogance. They were playing in the sense of, you know what, at some stage we're going to get our chances. We are going to get our goals. Don't worry, this Indian team will be no problem for us. India didn't really create those relief attacks. In German, we have a word called Entlastungsangriffe. We didn't create that relief for the defense. And in the first 45, especially Sandesh Jhingan once more stood out with his defensive prowess. He put his body on the line. At some stage, he was even bleeding. Gurpreet wasn't tested that much, but even the attacking players, be it once more Vikram, impressed me with his defensive work rate. Irfan Yadwat, Ashik Kurunyan, all of them put in a shift. And at the break, it was 0-0. And the question was at that stage, what do? Do you try and continue? Do you make changes here and there? Or, what can you do? Because the Iranians made a couple of attacking substitutions because they realized we need to change something. We need to be a little bit more direct. And Khalid Jamil then made a couple of changes after 54 minutes. Danish and Suresh walked off. Jackson and Sana came on. But only 5 minutes later, it was Amir Hussain Zadeh who gave Iran the 1-0 lead. And by that time, India was trying to play a 5-4-1. Sana dropped into the back line and suddenly we had a 5-man defense, 4 in midfield and Irfan Yadwat, the lonely striker up front. Suddenly things didn't seem to work because Iran upped the pressure. Iran wanted more. And then, unusual for someone like Khalid Jamil, he made a triple substitution in the 68th minute, and those were attacking substitutions. Manvir Singh with his debut, Jitin MS and Mahesh Naurem came on for Vikram, Irfan and surprisingly for Sana. So suddenly, Khalid changed from a 4 to a 5-man backline and then switched it back to a 4-man backline. Sana Singh spent 14 minutes on the pitch. Not the best of choices, I would say, in that. But while those were our substitutions, Iran on the other side had a different idea because they brought on 2 of their normal first team, their superstar players. Taremi, ex-Porto, ex-Inter Milan, just transferred to Olympiacos, and Ali Reza Jahanbakhsh, Feyenoord, Brighton, that's the quality. Iran upped the pressure even more, but the game opened up a little because Iran also making the substitutions was not as organized as they were earlier. So there were a little bit of gaps here and there. There were potential through passes. There were, if I want to be friendly, half opportunities for the Indian team. Chante also came on for Ashik. And then towards the end, that happened what has happened a lot of times to Indian teams over the last few years. You're fighting for 90 minutes. You're running out of gas. You're running out of steam. maybe the concentration level goes down and you concede 2 late goals. First, substitute Alipur in the 89th minute with an opportunistic goal, and then it was left to superstar Mehdi Taremi to score a third off Jahan Baksh in the 96th minute. Yeah, 0-3, India versus Iran. I think a lot of learnings for Khalid Jamil. And the biggest for me is, and I tweeted it out as well, is India is not a team which can defend against an opponent for 90 minutes. We need to find solutions to release that pressure on our defensive unit. We cannot have 8-9 players defending nearly all the time. That is the biggest challenge that is there in front of Khalid Jamil, because now India plays Afghanistan on Thursday and they lost today to Tajikistan. That opens up the group completely, because in theory India need a draw, because Tajikistan beating Iran doesn't sound likely. But how do we approach that next match is going to be also a question, but I don't want to discuss this in this video because this was about this game. And this game showcased a lack of technical abilities, attacking options awareness, and also decision making. Right? Very often, when you're supposed to go on your own, a pass was played, or vice versa, or the passes, the 2-3 half chances we had, the passes were not cleanly played. And that is something which is going to be very difficult for Khalid, or we've seen that with Manolo and Igor Stimac in the past, to get that out of the players. But against Afghanistan, we need a different tactic. We need something more of how we're going to control, because otherwise, we should not forget our results that we've had against Afghanistan in the recent past. What do you guys think? What is your opinion about this result, about this gameplay, about how we did? Anything else maybe to add, something else to say? As always, write it down in the comments below. And as always, like, share and subscribe arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias, visit arunfoot.com. And I'll be back very soon. So Arunava Chaudhuri signing off. Bye for now.